Hello! Tithing is the key point of Season of the Witch. You can do that in purely mechanical manner, just by completing seasonal activities without any additional knowledge or thoughts on that topic, but if you would like to know a little more, that's the video for you. Now, if you're familiar with hive gods, their origin and traits, you may jump to this timestamp straight to tithing part of this video. First, I want to briefly explain how the hive became hive, to make a background. Millenniums ago on a planet called Fundament lived a very small species named Krill. One part of Krill was ruled by an Osmium king who had 3 daughters, Orash, Sathona and Zero. Long story short, these 3 sisters made a deal with worms living deep in the ocean. According to this deal, they gained power and immortality by ingesting worms' larvae and feeding them by obeying their nature. And so, curious Orash became Auryx and then later Oryx, the Taken King, smart Sathona became Savathun, the Witch Queen, and brave Zero became Zivoraf, the God of War. Leaving their worm gods, they took more larvae to give them to the rest of the Krill, and so the hive was born. The 3 siblings conquered and extinguished hundreds of other species to feed their worms and grew in power for centuries. But at some point, the hive leaders noticed that the hunger of their worms grows faster than they can feed them, even if they destroy whole worlds. So after their war with Ecumene, Oryx declared the tithe system. Our first source for hive's history and also the tithing are the Books of Sorrow, written by Oryx himself. Savathun made a side note that these books are full of lies, so we should keep that in mind reading them, although in case of tithing the description is very straightforward. So let's start with verse 3:9. Oryx told the hive, "I am the Taken King, and here is my law. You thrall, each of you will claw and scream and kill what you can. Take enough killing to feed your worm and a little more to grow. Tithe the rest to the acolyte who commands you. You, acolytes, lead your thrall in battle. Take enough killing to feed your worm and a little more to grow, and take the tithe of the thrall you lead. Then tithe the remainder to the knight or wizard who commands you. Thus you pay tribute. You knights and wizards, lead your followers in battle. Take enough devastation to feed your worm and a little more to grow, and take the tithe of your followers. Then take another portion, as much as you dare, and use it for your own purposes. But if it is too much, your peers will kill you and take it. Then tithe the remainder to the ascendant you serve. An ascendant will be those among the hive who gather enough tribute to enter the netherworld. They will pay a tithe to those above them, and thus the tribute will flow up the chain, so that Savathun and Zivoraf and myself will be fed by a great river of tribute, and we will use that excess to feed our gods and to study the deep. Thus all worms will be fed as long as we continue our crusade. This is my law. I carve it thus in ruin. Ayat." I think it's quite self-explanatory. There is a hierarchy in the hive and everyone donates excess of their work to their leader, like in a pyramid. But the question is, how does it fit our own deeds in Season of the Witch? Before we start some speculation, a spoiler alert. As we're 2 weeks into the season, I guess you already know what happened to Eris, but if you still don't and you don't want spoilers, I advise you to first complete Mission Invocation, which concludes the first week of the Season of the Witch. Said so, let's go further. The core idea now is that Zivoraf feeds on war and death, and by the way, we ourselves contributed greatly to her power by fighting all these years. And if we want to have any chance against her now, we need our own champion, or even a god. So Eris Morn conducted a ritual to become hive. She declared herself a god of vengeance, which is indeed very integral with her character and story. And now to rise in power, she gathers tithes from us. Not only from altars of summoning, but also other activities, wherever we fight in her name, as she stated this week. So as we can see, tithing doesn't happen only inside hive's ranks, because, well, we're not hive. Maybe it requires that the receiver is hive, which is the reason for Eris to transform, but in this season tithing in general leaked out of their structures. This makes me wonder if receiving tithes requires symbiosis with a worm. I've heard statements that Savathun can't receive her tithe since she removed her worm, but if that's true, it means Eris also needs to be symbiotic with a worm to receive them now, which would be very important information. That would have an enormous impact on both our actions now and the conclusion of this season, or even the final shape. And if not, if these two systems don't depend on each other, it means that Sabaton also can still receive tithes. There is a strong premise for that separation in the Spectre lore entry from the Lucent Tales book. It describes an investigation of several trolls' death cases. They were killed by Hive, mostly their commanders, when they found traces of light in these trolls' systems, and accused them of theft, because trolls don't partner with ghosts, as this lore book says, so they couldn't receive light by themselves. We can read that another troll suspected of theft claimed complete ignorance to the light's origin in his system. When asked about unusual activity, reported that his symbiote feels sated without need for bloodshed or tithing. And later consulted Nabenki, a Lucent Knight, for context regarding tithing. Apparently, Hive functioned on a system of energetic kickbacks, paid up the ladder, ending with a queen. Would have been useful to know earlier. Suspect this network may be impacted by introduction of light. Nabenki confirmed light exhibits a negative pressure within the system, maybe pushing trace amounts back through it. Here is a ton of interesting information. Normally this energetic network was filled with darkness, released from killing others, and it went only in one direction, from bottom to top. After Sabaton and many of her knights and wizards joined light, this energy started filling the system. Instead of only taking the tribute, Hive started unconsciously sharing the light from top to bottom, which is not at all the way it always worked. It makes all the systems stand upside down. And what is more, light energy feeds the worms as well as darkness. That way they are sated without any bloodshed, and this is a game changer, because it means that after millenniums of slavery, Hive can actually be freed from serving the darkness, or more precisely the witness, because we now know it was them who plotted it all from the very beginning, including creation of the worm gods. Up till now, Hive was constantly pushed to conquest and destruction just to survive, because otherwise their worms consumed them. I really can't wait to see how all these revolutions will evolve. I think the most fascinating things will happen or just be revealed when Sabaton comes back. That's all we know for now. I hope you now have any idea on how the tithing system worked and what has changed lately in Lucent Hive's case, and how we've messed with these things a little. If there is anything in particular that interests you, please let me know in the comments. I will try to do some videos explaining recent topics, but with this deeper background from Destiny's lore. For now, thank you for watching, I hope you're having a great day, and see you soon. Bye!